Well, earlier today I spoke with Asime Nyide, an interesting addition to the South African political arena, and fascinating to see that his former colleague, Herman Mashaba, is, well, also on the same track looking forward to 2024. We'll get an update from Mr. Mashaba in a moment and also address that very controversial issue of the book. Herman, do you and Musi stay in touch? Are you still in contact?
I do meet Musi from time to time in events. I saw him. I was with him 2 weeks ago in Cape Town at one of the media houses conference. Yeah, I bumped and spent some time with him. Yeah, I saw him there about 2 weeks ago.
It was interesting this morning when we were talking. He didn't pass on his regards during the interview, which one doesn't do, but he sounded very, very happy that you and I were going to have this conversation, not least because he is seeing a change in South Africa in 2024. And he pointed to what happened in Zambia with H.H. Hichilema, his friend, and more recently, which something that's gone right under the radar here in South Africa is Lesotho, where a brand new party, 6 months old, swept the boards there, got the most seats by far in the election, and is now the new party running Lesotho. So the winds of change, once again, seem to be hitting this part of the world.
Well, I think, Alex, for us, Section SA is no longer an academic exercise. I think, Alec, you know our performance in the 2021 local government elections when all the experts had written us off. And Alec, I'm sure you're aware of all the by-elections we contested. All the time we get historic electoral support, not just some clever professor or an expert. I think, I think for us, Section SA, this is not a pipe dream any longer. Alec, as you're aware, I have structures, 9 provincial chairpersons, working around the clock. We're launching branches every single day. If you look at every Monday, I report to South Africa on the number of branches we're launching throughout the country. As I'm talking to you right now, on Friday, Youth Day in Soweto, I'm bringing a totally different political dimension to Youth Day, June 16, making it the biggest voter registration of disenfranchised South Africans who've chickened out of the political environment, bringing them in. I'm not taking chances. I'm doing it practically. We've got a minimum of 50 taxis we've hired for the day. We've identified thousands of the youth who have not registered. I've got probably close to 100 of our volunteers with on their phones to register. We've trained them to register people, not with Action SA as a party, to register them with the IEC. I'm confident we're going to end up in one single day registering more people than the IEC has ever undertaken. That's really what I want to really prove to South Africa, that we are going to bring in a new political dispensation in the country, because we've got over 20 million South Africans who are staying away from voting. So we want to bring them back into the political the voting pool. But we are not just talking, we are doing it. So in a few days' time, Alec, if you've got time, I'm happy to invite you after you register. We'll give you a Purafor's role or give you some curry and whatever. There'll be music, there'll be entertainment. We've got over 50 gazebos. I'm sure you know Regina Mundi. There's that Tokoza Park next to. We are occupying that entire park, and it's in the main street of Soweto. So it'll start with me and a few of us. We do the normal thing that all the political parties do, and they go home. With us, We'll start at 8 o'clock, do the wreath laying at the Hector Peterson Memorial. And then 10 o'clock, we start the registration with people with a phone, with our phones. So we've invited IEC. I'm not sure if they've already accepted the invitation to join us, but whether they're there or not, it doesn't matter. I think their platform is fantastic. As long as people come in with their IDs, and we're gonna fetch them. We know who they are. So we're gonna fetch them from their homes and take them back home afterwards. And these are the people who will not vote for any of the existing political parties. So for us as Action SA, as we vote them, we know they're gonna vote for us. And this is the launch. This is not just a one-night stand. This is just the launch of a national campaign.
It is critical, if there's going to be disruption of the political status quo, that something big changes, and the registration, as you've explained it, is really significant. And Regina Mundi, which has been an iconic church in the middle of Soweto, and so much has happened there. So a good place to start. But let's eat that frog. Let's eat that frog, Herman. That book. You have been flayed. I just feel it's almost like I've known you for many, many years, and I know you're a good guy. And you've told me this is a brutal job. And I've seen the political environment, which we now, as financial journalists, now really have to understand, because if you can't get the politics right, forget the economy. And boy, it looks dirty out there. So what happened here with this book of the unauthorized biography, and you paying 12 million? What's going on?
I think, Alec, it's actually true what you're saying. This is a brutal job. I remember when I accepted to be the DA mayoral candidate, one friend of mine said to me, Herman, you must be a brave man to get into this dirty mud, because says people are going to insult you, including calling your mom, your mother's whatever, So I actually joined this world knowing it's a brutality. But one thing I've been trained not to really be distracted. And I think this book was really one of those unfortunate things, because even up to now, I think I hope one day I'll be able to sit with Prince to really tell me why he decided to use this approach when he's got a legal contract with me. Just to give you a sense what happened, so that you've got a better understanding. Around October 2018, when I was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, not having any idea that I will leave before 2021, Prince, who used to be one of the big critic, I'm sure you can Google, used to think I was one of the biggest jokes to enter politics. But then Taylor obviously contested, became the mayor, and 18 months, 2 years later, requested to have a meeting with me, which I duly accepted, and really came to me with something honestly fundamental and actually heartwarming, to say, Herman, you know what, as political analyst and scientist, you've honestly surprised us. You've made us jokes, because when you came into this game, we thought you are the biggest joke ever. But we are surprised with what you are doing in the city of Johannesburg. We are surprised you are working well with the EFF and all the other parties. You're running the most stable government. You're fighting corruption. You are reaching communities which you have never reached before. I'd really want you to really give me an opportunity to do a research on this animal called Herman Mashaba. First, obviously took me by surprise, and he had obviously the presentation in writing, and I said, "Look, Prince, you are most welcome. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I've got nothing to hide, and whatever I do it naturally. I'm not the kind of person to go into getting involved in research. I use common sense. What I do it because I believe in what I'm doing, and I do things to win. And I said to him, one thing that you must understand me as an animal, whatever I do in life, I've been trained to do it to win. And then, and says, okay, he's happy, and then he'll go and look for funding. And then I think around about February of 2019, came back to give me the feedback, but obviously expressing a concern of to not really be able to really get the funding. But because I was already sold on this project that it would be ready by December 2022, I was already sold on this concept of for someone. I've written books, myself, and I said if this book is going to be written by someone who's a critic, he wants to really look at me. I said to him, to Prince, I doubt if you'll really be able to really get the money. And I think it would be unfortunate to lose this opportunity. I grew up in an environment where there are no books of black people like me that I know of people who beat the apartheid system, someone who voted and supported the ANC. And when they started going wrong, I stood up against them. I'm not aware of such a book. And I said, it would be unfortunate for this not to be captured by someone independent. I said, you know what, Prince, 2021, because I'm not going to be standing again for the DA for the second term. I'm happy to really have that book by 2022. It'll be a book that my grandchildren and other young black kids can actually have this history. I said, you know what, I'm really prepared to put money behind this. That obviously I would want my money back, and I know obviously I've been involved in publication. I won't get it back, but for me, it's more to invest in the history of our country. I said, I'm happy, but whatever the royalties you get until I get my money, I must get this money back. But at said, Prince, I don't want to get it from you. I want to get it from the publisher. And then we obviously got the lawyers to draw up the agreement, which are so explicit that whatever royalties will have to come from the publisher. And why Prince did not share this with the publisher, honestly, I can't explain it. And I've said this, and I proved this because when this whole thing happened, it was a 4-year project. When the news broke, I was overseas at the time, and I warned Prince when I was overseas when this thing came to my attention. And at the time, I thought perhaps he did not pay his researchers, the guy who was coming. I thought maybe he did not pay him. And he couldn't tell me. I said to Prince, if that's the case, then yes, absolutely. And I looked at the agreement and said, Prince, you're in breach. You're supposed to have informed the publisher. Then pull that book back and do the right thing. Because I said, on the way to Korea, I managed to finish the book. I started reading it because I only had it the week before it was launched. And I started reading and I finished reading it. By the time I got to Seoul, I'd already finished. And that's when the news broke. I said, pull it out. And how many copies have they printed? It says 2,000. I said, it's nothing. Start all over again. Do the right thing. But he assured me that he'll handle the thing. Then I come back on Sunday. It's in the Sunday papers. Monday morning, I issued a statement to clarify that no, guys. I paid for this book, supposed to have been a biography. I don't know. Let Prince explain. But NRC still went on to really defend this, which was unfortunate. But eventually, he accepted. And I've obviously then decided to put my lawyers onto it. And the book will be out in a few weeks' time. We've with my lawyers, we've managed now to take the rights to the book, but obviously without the taking its editorial independence, just so that I get negotiate with a new publisher and printers and remove that unauthorized. This contractually supposed to be a biography by Prince Mashaba. And we've all agreed to put in top lawyers. He's also using top lawyers. So the rights are now with me. My lawyers are now negotiating with new publishers and the printers. So the book will be out as originally planned. And then Prince will deal with the other issues. And I hope one day he'll be able to really share with me as to why he decided. When I really handsomely paid him, it's not like, I took advantage of someone, underpay him. I knew I was paying him well. I can't say I overpaid or underpaid. I paid him fairly based on the work that he's done. I'm really very proud of that book, and the demand for the book is massive.
It must be now after all the publicity. But Herman, the thing that confused me was that Brutus Malada, who is the whistleblower, if you like, in all of this, is the husband of Mpopalatse, who's in the DA, and he's a member of Action SA. This is confusing.
But I see he's resigned. I see last week they sent us a note to resign. But he was never in any of the structures of Action SA. He was an ordinary member, like over the 300,000 members. So he wasn't holding any position. So I see was it last week or so, and I sent us a note 2 weeks ago, sent us a note to resign as a member of Action SA. So that's fine. We did not even have to accept it, because people of Action SA, it's a voluntary organization. You resign unless you're holding an office. That's when we can negotiate. But if you decide to join and resign, honestly, we don't have to acknowledge your receipt, as long as you've taken yourself off our system, because people don't pay to be members of Action SA.
Herman, how's it going with the other political parties, and particularly the Moonshot Pact? I know that you and Musi are from your perspectives, you're disrupting. You're going to pull a Lesotho in South Africa. Let's see. But the Moonshot Pact is still something that many people have paid a lot of attention to. You were prepared to give it a go, but with Gayton McKenzie not in there, it seems to have fallen apart.
Not really. It hasn't fallen apart as yet, Alec. I think our teams do meet every week. In fact, tomorrow there's another meeting of our representatives. It's just that, unfortunately, always it clashes with my other engagements. I do attend some of the meetings, but it's just that I think it still needs a lot of debate before we can really formalize it, including changing of the name, because this name Moonshot Pact doesn't make sense to anyone in the group, and CDA has accepted the change of name, and and I think for us, our concern and my personal concern, I can even speak for myself, even not the party, but I know it's my party's position. We are concerned with other parties who are still willing to open that door to talking to the ANC. This, for us, it's actually a deal breaker. And these are some of the issues that we really need clarity on, because we don't want anyone to really take us for granted and abuse us when you've got two doors open. So we need clarity on this, and it's got to be a public declaration. Actually, for us as Action SA, we really even want to really put it to really have a legal effect, that in the event you negotiate with the ANC, it's got to be a criminal offense. If I've got to be as crude as that. I think because we are clear as Action SA, we will never negotiate with the ANC or be in coalition with the ANC. I would rather be in opposition than really be in coalition with the ANC. But so parties that wants to talk to us now in preparation of 2024, and we need those parties, but we want them, honestly, an open door to ANC. For us, it's a deal breaker.
So what's the reluctance of the other parties? And here in particular, one would talk about the PA, which is in collaboration with the ANC, and the Democratic Alliance, which has said it's the second worst of all alternatives, but they haven't ruled it out. Why are they not all signing the declaration that you would propose and saying, okay, we're going to the election as the anti-ANC bloc, the Rainbow Coalition, the Moonshot Pact, whatever it is?
Honestly, I think I really wish I can really answer that question with a clear answer, because it just does not make sense to me. Just imagine, Alec, if you now go into a coalition with the ANC, how are you going to deal with their race-based policies? How are you going to deal with their corruption? How are you going to deal with their relationship with COSATU? How are you going to deal with the international relationships, which are a disaster for this country? So I'm trying to really understand when the ANC themselves can't deal with this. Whoever is going to be that small party, do you think will you be able to change this? I think honestly, you've got to be living in another world. So these are things that's for me why I would not go into a partnership with the ANC, because I know you stand no chance. No one in the world stand any chance, including the ANC themselves, because the ANC can't divorce themselves from corruption. It's impossible. ANC can drop their relationship with COSATU, which is busy as destroying jobs and have destroyed businesses. So, ANC can't distance themselves being associated with communist regimes, and I can go on and on and on. And these are things for me are deal breakers. So I'm not sure anyone would want to really work with a party like this. So you can imagine for you as a white person, uh, uh, Alec, you vote for a party that you vote for, and is going to give your vote to a party that is going to discriminate against you on the basis on something that you don't have control over. Because looking at I look at someone who is a creation of God. You didn't create yourself to be in this image. Now, you can imagine if someone now needs to discriminate against you on something you have no control over, like how the apartheid government grew up hating and not understanding why. What have I done? Every time the apartheid government would unleash things that I had no control over, and that's why I fought them. And here we are 29 years into our democracy. The very same ANC that I voted for in 1994, it's busy discriminating us, pitting us against each other as a nation, calling us black, whites, and everything. Our businesses are expected to comply with these evil laws. So, I mean, these are things that, unfortunately, I wish I can give you an answer, but it's things that don't make sense. Anyone wanting to work with the ANC that would not actually change these fundamental issues. These issues are critical to me as Herman Mashaba.
I think they're critical to many people. Had you gone back into the past and listened to Nelson Mandela's speech at the Rivonia trial, famously where he said he does not believe in dominance by black or by white, and many of the white people who fought against apartheid gave up their lives. Many did. It's just the whole thing is just insane. We have social engineering, which is now being brought about again. And Herman, just to close off with the last point, because I guess on that one we could talk forever. You want the Americans to hold off on kicking South Africa out of AGOA until after the election. That's a good call.
Yeah, and I'm glad that my letter is already with all the lawmakers. The U.S. government has already responded, and I believe the ambassador is in Washington, and my letter has already been distributed to all the lawmakers. And I'm sure you saw my statement. I'm really asking them, please don't punish us because of ANC. Please give us. It's a sensitive time. We have an economy that is delicate. To use this preferential trade relations with the US would be disastrous for all of us South Africans. So I'm really appealing to US lawmakers. They played a role in our liberation. They played a very important role in bringing about a democratic system. They've played a role in actually giving an example of a free market economy can do. And I'm saying, please give us a chance. If we fail as South Africa to keep voting ANC in power, you can punish us. But please give us a chance. We're working around the clock to ensure that we can remove ANC democratically. But in the event we fail, then you've got a right. But right now, please. And I hope they can give us that opportunity, because honestly, for the US to withdraw AGOA would really be disastrous. Not for the ANC. The ANC will continue looting this country with their friends who don't really believe in democracy. But I think majority of law-abiding South Africans will really suffer. So I hope that my message and my request will be positively received by the American lawmakers.
Don't pull the rug from under our feet when we are close to the winning line, I guess. Herman Mashaba is the founder and leader of Action South Africa, and I'm Alec Hogg from biznews.com.